To the morning show, I'm Brandon Iron here on KGMN Super Country 100.1 and 103.5 in Lake Havasu. On phones with me this morning is the legend, T.G Sheppard. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Brandon, but I never get used to that adjective, the legend. I've never considered myself that.
The living legend.
Wow, thank you. That's very kind of you to say that. I look at Merle Haggard and George Jones, and oh gosh, people like that as the legends.
You're too kind on yourself. You are. So I know you've been out touring. You are all over the place, and I thank you for giving me a call in this morning. I know,
no problem.
You pretty much went from Kentucky up to Pennsylvania, down to Kansas, across to Missouri, back to Kansas, and now you're in Nevada. Are you in Nevada yet?
Well, I'm actually in Nashville today. I have to give a speech today at the what they call the IEBA convention, which is the Entertainment Buyers Association. And so I have to give a speech today along with Ben Skill and the Oak Ridge Boys. And so I'll go home and pack, and then tomorrow I'll jump on a plane and head to Nevada for 13 days.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, your last stretch through September, it looks like you did 9 shows through September, and now they got you lined up for a whole nother group of shows in October. You're sure working pretty hard.
Well, it beats the alternative, which is no work. I don't know. I really and truly, if somebody had told me, Brandon, 40 years ago when I started doing this, that I would still be out here after all this time doing shows, and that there would still be people coming to the shows and sit there and mouth the words to the songs with you, I would have told you were crazy. But they're still showing up, and our crowds have been incredible, and I think there's a resurgence right now toward traditional country, and I'm glad to be part of it. That's why we're working so much.
We have a stack of tickets down here for Riverside, so we'll be giving those away all week.
Wonderful,
and,
wonderful.
You're going to be playing October 7th, that's Tuesday, through Sunday, October 12th. Not everybody gets their own week at Riverside Casino. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I have to give my cohort in crime a little bit of credit for that, because the beautiful thing about going to the Riverside is you get a chance to share the bill with another entertainer and another star. And of course, with me, I'm going to be sharing the bill with the legendary Mo Bandy, which has had some incredible songs. And he's not only a great entertainer, but he's a great friend. And we have a lot of fun doing a few shows together throughout the year. And we did so well at the Riverside last year together, we thought we'd go back and do it again this year. So I have to give Mo Bandy some credit there. I hope everyone will come out and catch our shows. We have a lot of fun. It's a great place to play. Don's Celebrity Showroom is a great place. It's a great hotel and the best food in the world.
It is very good food, and Mo Bandy is awesome. What a great show to see you two out there performing. You were lucky enough to play the Grand Ole Opry twice already this year. And do you still get like the butterflies when you get to go play the Grand Ole Opry?
Well, I actually would play the Opry every month when I'm on the road. They call me to do 2 dates this month, and I was booked on the road. You always get goosebumps when you do the Grand Ole Opry. I think I've done it, I don't know how many times total, maybe a couple of hundred in the last 25 years. But, every time to me, Brandon, is like stepping in the circle for the first time. It's an honor. It's hallowed ground where the great people have performed before me. And there are so many great artists that would give anything to stand there and do what I do, and I don't take it for granted.
It's very cool. You're living a life that people just dream about, and that's so cool, man.
When people ask me, a lot of my friends will say, "Well, T, how are you?" I'll go, "Well, just living the dream." I really mean that. I really am. I'm really doing in life what I've always dreamed of doing, and God's blessed me so much with this life and this career, and I don't take it for granted.
Do you plan on releasing a new album anytime soon?
Well, I have a duet project with my wife right now, Kelly Lang, called Iconic Duets. And we went in and did our favorite songs. My wife is Kelly Lang. She's a great singer and songwriter. And It was, Johnny and June and George and Tammy and Conway and Loretta. We did our favorite duets.
Nice.
But I'll be going in and doing a new commercial album probably sometime in the next 3 months for a release date of 2015. And one of my dear friends, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, has just written me an incredible song called Midnight in Memphis, and I'll be including that on the new album. And maybe I can talk him into coming in and recording with me. I would love that. But
that'd be great, right?
Yeah, gosh, I mean, but yeah, I'll be doing a new solo album probably sometime between now and February.
That's very excited. You've released so many albums in your career, and it's one of those things I love about your generation of music. You've released around 24 albums, including best ofs, and you check out the list. In your first 9 years, let's compare you to somebody like the biggest out there today, like Jason Aldean, all right? In the last 9 years of Jason Aldean's career, since he started, he's 5 albums.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. Isn't that incredible?
And how many did I do the first 9?
In your first 9 years, you released 13 albums.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. Well, you were doubling them up. You were doing about 2 a year there for a while. And
yeah, I was. Yeah.
That's just whatever happened to people releasing their music. Like, how can somebody ride an album for 2 years? I just don't understand it.
I think what happened, though, Brandon, and you're smart. You're in the business. You're very savvy. I've heard great things about you. And the thing about it is, I think the industry has changed so drastically in the last 10 or 15 years. I was talking about this the other day with Kenny Rogers. A lot of people now will go and download their favorite couple of songs off of an album on iTunes or whatever, or Amazon, as opposed to going and buying a complete album like they used to. So I think the texture of the business has changed to the point to where people are not maybe buying as many albums as they are just by downloading songs.
So singles have totally come back.
Singles as opposed to, so the singles have really made a big return due to downloads. And so that may be the reason why a lot of artists now don't do as many albums. Or I think the artists of today also are so hot and so big that they really don't have the time to get back in the studio. They're on the road making the money.
And just think how much music we're actually missing by that.
Yes, I know. I agree.
And
totally agree.
Yeah, so I'm so
I'm
so happy you went ahead and was doing what you're doing. From 1975 is when you started off your career. Well, that's when T.G. Sheppard, the self-titled album, was released, correct?
Right.
And,
sure was.
One of my favorite albums is I Love 'Em All. I have the record, and
you do?
I do have a huge record collection, and that's one of my favorite covers of all my records. It's hanging on.
I gotta tell you that cover, okay? That cover was shot by a guy named, I don't know if you're big on trivia, but there was a photographer named Dick Zimmerman.
Yeah.
And Dick was the same guy that shot the cover on Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, great.
So he did that cover for me. He did most of all my covers back then. So, yeah, that's always been one of my favorite covers, too.
For people who don't remember the cover, they'll remember it. You're on the cover. You got a white hat on, a gorgeous white hat, and a bright blue, like black tinted shirt. Very 1980s one. It's very
right.
Cool. And then you're surrounded by 7 beautiful women. 4 on the front, 3 on the back. And did you know any of those girls before the photo?
No, I didn't. I'm telling you that. But those were the days when you were in the midst of building an image, and I never was the guy that made the decision to go in that direction with the image, because to me, I always felt that the music spoke for itself. But our songs really and truly were directed a lot toward women, and much like Conway and much like other artists of that day.
Yep.
So I guess that's the direction they led me in. So when they got ready to shoot that photo session that day and all these girls showed up, I mean, I didn't mind. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think that was my first tours.
It's a great cover.
But it was a fun shoot. It was a fun album, and it was a huge album for me.
I remember my mother would tell my father to be quiet because T.G. Sheppard was on the radio, and she used to always be quiet, and she'd turn the radio up. And
oh, my God.
I loved them all. She would sing, well, the whole album. You know, that's why I was such a big fan of it, is she would clean the house. She'd do everything to your album, man. And it's,
man.
It's just a great album, man. And it's
is your mother still here? I mean,
she is. She's in Peace in Arizona. Yep.
Well, will you be sure and tell her that I appreciate that so much? Because, you know, I never turned, and I really appreciate anybody who has loved our music in the past or present or future. And so be sure and thank her for me.
I will. Let's go ahead and play a tune. Thank you so much for coming in. I know you're so busy. And
oh, man, I'm never too busy for you, Brandon. Are you kidding me?
You know, the last time we saw each other, it was 2 years ago at the CMA Fest.
I remember.
You had your booth set up, and we went over. I don't know. I probably spent like 45 minutes with you hanging out, but you were so busy.
I actually remember. I really do, and that's why I was looking forward to getting a chance to speak with you again today, because it's been a couple of years, and I hope you'll sneak over to Laughlin and catch the show one night.
Oh, I'll be there for sure. Absolutely. You'll be telling me. I said one show, not every show.
Well, you know what? You can come to every show, Brendan. It doesn't matter. I'd love to have you.
Sounds great. Let's go ahead and we'll play I Love 'Em All, since we got the album pulled out and everything right here.
Right.
And T.G. Sheppard, thank you so much for coming in. Again, he's playing October 7th through the 12th at Riverside Casino in Laughlin. And let's go ahead. This is one of his #1 hits, and definitely one of our favorites around the house. Here's I Love 'Em All. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Brandon. See you soon.
All right, bye. T.G. Sheppard. Look at that, buddy.
Man, that was great.
I love it.
You're easy. You're really good.